You might be wondering how to explain non-positivist methods clearly in a crisp UPSC answer without mixing up terms. You might also be confused about when to use qualitative methods instead of statistical evidence in social research. By the end of this video, you will be completely clear about this topic and able to explain it in exam-ready language. We'll keep things simple and build from basic ideas to exam-relevant examples so you can recall them under pressure. First, imagine two ways of studying the world: a physics lab with laws and a busy street full of meanings and symbols. Non-positivist methodologies argue that the social world is the busy street, not the physics lab, because people act with purpose and meaning. Non-positivism says human action is guided by symbols, values, and intentions. So detached measurement alone misses the point. This approach emphasizes interpretation, subjective understanding, and the context in which actions make sense to actors themselves. Think of social research as trying to read someone else's story rather than measuring the speed of a falling object. Non-positivists favor qualitative tools like participant observation, in-depth interviews, life histories, and textual interpretation for that reason. These methods let researchers unpack motives, meanings, and the everyday procedures people use to create social order. Major thinkers helped shape this tradition, with Max Weber at the Center for Interpretative Sociology and Verstehen. Weber asked researchers to grasp actors' subjective meanings, a method known as Verstehen, to understand social action from within. He also developed the ideal type as an analytic tool to clarify complex social phenomena by creating a simplified model for comparison. Compare ideal types to a map that highlights key landmarks so you can compare different social landscapes more clearly. This concept is very important for your exams, especially if you take Sociology Optional or answer social theory questions in general studies. Questions often probe the difference between positivist and interpretive approaches, so clear examples and definitions score well. Now let us look at three key schools inside non-positivist thought, each with a different focus and method. Phenomenology studies how social reality appears to consciousness and asks how people make sense of everyday experience. Alfred Schutz adapted Husserl's ideas to show that methods must account for actors' lived meanings rather than abstract laws. Ethnomethodology, developed by Harold Garfinkel, examines the everyday, often invisible practices people use to produce social order. Ethnomethodologists use breaching experiments and close transcription to reveal the taken-for-granted rules that organize interaction. Symbolic interactionism focuses on how people construct social reality through language, gestures, and shared symbols in conversation and role-taking. This school highlights how the self is socially constructed and how meaning emerges through interaction at the micro level. Together, these perspectives fit under the interpretivist umbrella, stressing interpretation, meaning, and the actor's point of view. Methodologically, non-positivists tend to prefer ethnography, participant observation, interview-based studies, and detailed textual analysis. These methods produce rich, contextualized descriptions that capture the complexity of social life in ways numbers alone cannot. For example, an ethnographic study of a market can reveal norms of trust and reciprocity that surveys might miss. Conversation analysis of doctor-patient talk can show how medical authority is produced during interaction rather than being simply assigned. Life history interviews with migrants can reconstruct subjective narratives of identity, aspiration, and adaptation over time. These examples are useful in essays and interviews because they demonstrate application, not just theory, which examiners value highly. Now, a balanced view. Non-positivist methods have strengths and limitations you must mention in answers to score higher. Strengths include sensitivity to meaning, rich descriptions, theory generation grounded in data, and usefulness for complex new phenomena. Limitations include context-bound findings, challenges of generalization, time-consuming fieldwork, and the need for researcher reflexivity. Be ready to point out how transparent documentation, triangulation, and reflexive practice can improve reliability and credibility. Ethical concerns matter. Informed consent, respectful representation of participants, and awareness of the researcher's influence are central in non-positivist work. In a UPSC answer, briefly illustrate these strengths and limitations with a concrete example to show critical thinking. A quick comparison sentence showing why positivist methods suit prediction and non-positivist methods suit understanding will earn clarity marks. And towards the end, we will understand a key idea that most UPSC aspirants miss. Interpretation itself can be systematically rigorous. Interpretive research is not just impressionistic description. It uses structured procedures, careful coding, and systematic comparison to build credible arguments. Highlight methods like triangulation, thick description, and reflexivity to show how rigor is achieved without positivist measurements. When you write an answer, define non-positivism. Name one or two schools. Give a short example. Then evaluate strengths and weaknesses. This simple structure definition, schools, example, evaluation, creates a compact, high-scoring response under time pressure. Quick recap. Non-positivist methodologies prioritize meaning, use qualitative methods, focus on microprocesses, and value understanding over universal laws. Remember key names: Max Weber for Verstehen and Ideal Type, Alfred Schutz for Phenomenology, Harold Garfinkel for Ethnomethodology, and Herbert Blumer for Symbolic Interactionism. You are now equipped to explain what non-positivist methodologies are and why they matter in research and in UPSC answers. If you practice one or two examples and the simple answer structure, you will be able to write confidently in the exam. Keep exploring case studies and short ethnographic examples to make your answers vivid and grounded in reality. If you want more model answers, summaries, and practice questions, continue learning with EduRef for structured resources and practice tests. Good luck! And remember that understanding people is often more rigorous and vital than just counting them.